Movies, 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 horror movies, movies, horror movies, 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 horror movies, horror adjacent movies. All right. How's everybody doing out there? Anybody out there?
Is there
Anyone?
anybody out there?
Chris, are you out there?
I am here. How are you?
I am good. I am very good. I'm just trying to get back into the swing of life in general. It's working.
How was your cruise?
I took a cruise to Cozumel, Mexico, and it was drunken, and I ate too much. And I gained 6 pounds, and I've been working steadily on losing my 6 pounds. I've gotten down 3 pounds back to good. So, but it was great. It was a lot of fun. Hello, Audrey. How are you? Hello, Tony. Yeah, no, the cruise was really good. How was things while I was gone? Did it go well?
Fine.
Hi, Paula. Yeah.
Shows. They're fine.
Yeah, you did some shows. They were good.
Yeah, they're good.
Look at that. Felicia Earl. Hi, guys. Hi, Felicia. Speaking of shows, tonight we've got a special thing. We're going to be giving away a pair of tickets to come see the dude with Texas Hippie Coalition in Sanford, Florida, this Saturday.
Woo!
Hey, Tom. Good to see you, bro. People come and join the chat. Yeah, people come join the chat. Delilah plays the devil. Hello. Heart. LOL.
Deja vu.
Laughy emoji. Hey.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers to you, my apple juice. All right. So, we are, tonight's movie is a real fun one from 1979. It's from 1979. If you're really into long ass movies from 1979, this is the movie for you. Yeah. Let's go ahead and watch the trailer for it. Here's Salem's Lot.
Ben Mears has been away too long. And now at last, he's come home.
The men fought at Valley Forge.
Daddy, come back safe.
Home to the childhood memories, to the old familiar faces, to a life unmolested by time.
And with your saints, let him rejoice in your presence forever. We ask it through Christ our Lord, amen.
Home to Salem's Lot, a town too good to be true.
What was that?
Did you happen to notice the time when the boys left?
We shouldn't have gone through the woods.
It's a shortcut.
Well, they should have been here half an hour ago.
Wait! Danny, wait!
Something is happening. Something terrible.
Henry! Where's Ralphie?
Where's your brother?
First a kid disappears, then this. You're not leaving Salem's Lot, are you?
I'm not leaving. Don't you understand what's happening?
Do you?
Yes, I do. It's in the Marston house. Good evening. I dreamed. You slept there all night? Yeah. A little tired. Didn't sleep much last night. I was dreaming. Somebody out there.
Sweet dreams.
I let him in.
Well, it's only all just happened
Since I came here.
It wasn't a dream.
Stop, holy man! You can do nothing against the master.
They're breeding on one another. The vampires are creating vampires.
The master wants you.
It's a geometric progression. 2 times 2 times 4 times 8.
There's a dead man upstairs.
Bill! Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil.
Look at me. Ned Tibbett's body has disappeared from the morgue.
Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Bill!
And Susan's in there. Run! No!
Look at him!
Stephen King, the best-selling author of Carrie and The Shining, takes you on a startling journey to Salem's Lot.
Woo, gets the heart pumping, huh?
Oh boy.
Wow. Directed by Toby Hooper, which
Of Texas Chainsaw fame.
of Texas Chainsaw fame. It was originally a mini series on I think it was CBS, if I'm not mistaken.
But it did get a theatrical release.
It did.
A limited theatrical release.
Very limited because it was 3 hours plus.
And in 1979, nobody had time for a 3-hour movie.
No, and in 2023, nobody has time for a 3-hour movie either. So,
3-hour movies are all the rage now.
Sure they are. All the rage. So this is one of the longest synopsises ever. I may skip around a little in order to, because there's 6 pages of this is I'm not kidding. Anyway, so here we go. This movie starts out, there's a prologue that shows a man and a boy in a Mexican town. They're collecting holy water inside a Catholic church, and one bottle seems to glow with a strange supernatural drawn-on film light. A signal that they've found us again. This event is shown out of chronological order, of course, taking place after the main events of the film. But let's get to the main events of the film because we might as well. The man you saw in the prologue is Ben Mears. He's played by David Soul of Starsky and Hutch fame, and
With the worst haircut ever.
Ever. But, hey, whatever. A writer who grew up in the small New England town of Salem's Lot, Maine. Ben has returned to Salem's Lot to explore the traumatic roots of his childhood, as all writers do. He intends to write a novel about an ominous house that overlooked the town of Salem's Lot, visible from all areas of the village, shrouded with a history of death, murder, and mental decay. The main resident of the house was Hubie Marston. It was called the Marston House, basically, for the rest of the movie. He was a bootlegger who was suspected in the mysterious disappearance of several local young boys. As a child, Ben was haunted by the idea of what could have occurred in the house. As a young boy, he went into the abandoned house on a dare and imagined he saw Hubie Marsden's corpse, which opened its eyes and looked at him. He was hanging by his neck. Ben was hoping to rent the house itself and stay there, but he finds another newcomer to Salem's Lot has beat him to the punch. A stark-looking man named Straker, played by James Mason, which everyone loves James Mason. And James Mason already rented the abandoned house for himself and his business partner, a certain Kurt Barlow. The beginning.
What a great name.
Yeah, Kurt Barlow. Hell yeah. The beginning section of the film deals with Ben's return to Salem's Lot and the people he meets, finding the Marsden house unavailable, that sort of thing. The rest of the town seems suspicious of Ben. He reconnects with an old teacher from high school, Jason Burke, who remembers Ben fondly. His, the teacher's wife has died recently in a car thing while driving. And by chance, Ben meets Susan Norton, played by Bonnie Bedelia, who was also, you may remember her from Needful Things, another Stephen King movie. She's a young school teacher, and he decides to begin a romance with her. She has an estranged boyfriend, Ned Tibbetts, and she tells Ben that Ned will not leave her alone, even though she's ended the relationship. Ben has a strange encounter with Straker, and when he approaches the Marsden house one day and comes face to face with the man just outside the grounds, Straker gives him a strange look and simply says good evening before leaving. The man who has rented the house to Straker, Larry Crockett, played by Fred Willard.
Oh, Fred Willard.
Yeah.
That made me happy.
Knows nothing of Straker's business partner, Barlow, and in fact, has never seen him. But Straker and Barlow intend to open an antique shop, which they have also rented a small business in the section of Salem's Lot to do that. At the grand opening of that shop, Barlow is still nowhere to be seen. Straker tells Ben that Barlow's off on a buying trip to Europe. Ben sees a teenage boy in the shop, Mark Petrie, and this is the boy who's with him in Mexico at the end, just so you know. So there may be a reason why he's in Mexico with a little boy other than just to kid talk. We'll find out as we go on. They don't know each other, though, at the store. They just kind of look at each other kind of funny and whatever. Mark is a fan of Mark is a fan of horror fiction, monsters, and magic. Mark's father is concerned that his son's fascination is stupid, basically.
He did make a bitch and Wolfman mask.
He was really good with stuff, and he was helping to write a part of this pageant that depicts the founding of Salem's Lot, and he has his friends over, Danny Glick and his younger brother Ralphie Glick. On their way home from Mark's house, the boys take a shortcut through the woods, and a mysterious wind blows them. They get blown by wind. And they become separated, and someone attacks Ralphie. Cully Sawyer is a trucker who's been hired by Straker to pick up a crate that's arriving by boat. He's instructed to deliver it to the Marsden house. Instead, Cully hires two other men to do the job, Mike Ryerson and Ned Tibbetts. Cully needs the night to himself in order to spy on his wife, Bonnie, who works for Larry Crockett, Fred Willard. Cully has heard a rumor that Bonnie is having an affair with Crockett and invites him over to the house whenever Cully is gone. Says he lurks in the bushes outside their home. Sure enough, Bonnie calls Crockett, and he arrives shortly thereafter. Cully waits a while and then bursts in with them with a shotgun, finding them half undressed in bed together.
George Denunza.
Yep. Yes. And
Law and Order fame.
Yes. And he's enraged, but he's calm. He orders Larry out of bed and into the living room. Bonnie babbles on about how Larry has raped her, she is not a good person, by the way. Basically, Cully knows better, but he pretends to question Larry about whether or not he raped her or not. And he basically threatens him with the shotgun, gets him to put it, up to his head, and pulls the trigger, but there's nothing in there. So Fred Willard runs out of the house and gets attacked. Fade to black. Okay, parents of Danny and Ralphie Glick phone Mark's house when the boys don't return home. While Mr. Glick is on the phone with Mr. Petrie, Danny stumbles into the backyard of the Glicks and collapses. Ralphie is nowhere to be found, and Danny is incoherent. Susan and Ben Susan has Ben over to the house for dinner, and where her mother reveals in a private moment that she is rather suspicious of Ben because of his reputation as a radical, and also because of the death of his wife.
And the haircut.
And the haircut. And the haircut.
I would be suspicious of that haircut.
Yeah. She also tells Susan that she wishes she would give Ned another chance because Ned is obviously very cool. Hi, Jackie. Hello, Linda. All right, Mike Ryerson and Ted Nebbits have a strange experience while making their delivery. The crate that they pick up to move is freezing cold. They put it into the truck, and as they're driving, it appears to be moving on its own. As soon as they turn the heat on, Straker has left instructions that the crate is to be carried into the basement of the rundown mansion, but neither man wants to venture down there. But they do. They deposit it in there, and Ned really wants to open up the crate, and Mike's like, no, let's not do it. And then they hear a noise upstairs, and they wind up running from there. After running from the house, Ned's too terrified to go back into the basement, and he tosses the chain and the padlock into the basement. Both men just flee the premises. The figure that enters the basement from upstairs is Straker, carrying a small package wrapped in plastic. It places it on the table, and who knew? It's Ralphie Glick. It's the little boy. Susan and Ben are sharing a romantic night in a secluded place near a lake when they unexpectedly hear a vehicle pull up nearby and another speed off. When they investigate, they find Larry Crockett sitting behind the wheel of his car, dead. The next day brings organized search for Ralphie Glick, which Ben willingly participates in, and despite the fact he knows that he's considered a suspect because he's a stranger. While combing the woods near where Ralphie disappeared, Ben finds a small swatch of black clothing on some shrubbery. Straker, who is always wears a black suit, is immediately under suspicion. I would also be under suspicion. I wear a lot of black. Constable Gillespie visits Straker at the antique store and questions him particularly about the elusive Mr. Barlow. Gillespie requests Straker's black suits for forensic purposes, and Straker agrees. That night, Danny Glick awakens to find a dense fog outside his bedroom window. From out of the mist, the figure of his brother, Ralphie, materializes, now looking pale and evil and with glowing eyes, hovering through the air and scratching at the window with his long fingernails. Entranced, Danny opens the window and Ralphie floats inside, hovering menacingly over him. The next day, Danny is admitted to the hospital with pernicious anemia due to a sudden loss of blood. Things are rapidly deteriorating in Salem's Lot as various town folks disappear or take ill. Danny Glick is victimized once again in the hospital bed by Ralphie, who hovers out the window the same way in the hospital. And it was the same window, to be honest with you. This time we see Ralphie bare his sharp teeth and bite Danny on the neck. The next day,
that's overstating it a little bit.
Yeah, it is.
He just kind of goes,
yeah, I get it. But they're kids. They shouldn't suck on each other's necks on film. Anyway, so he bites him on the neck. The next day, a nurse finds Danny dead in his bed. The townspeople attend his funeral, during which Mrs. Glick faints from grief. Ben and Mark see one another at the funeral and exchange glances once again. As the mourners leave, Mike Ryerson fills Danny's grave, and the sun fades behind the cloud. Mike responds as if in a trance. He leaps down into the grave and opens the coffin, revealing Danny's body. The eyes are wide open and glowing. As Mike looks up into the sky, Danny sits up and bites him on the neck. Ben discusses the nature of evil with Jason Burke. Okay, they have dinner in a tavern. He feels as if the Marsden house itself is a personification of evil, or the houseification of evil, depending on how you're looking at it. And as evil men, to itself once more. Jason is skeptical of Ben's theory. Then their conversation is interrupted by Mike Ryerson, who suddenly falls onto their table, behaving erratically. He seems dazed and ill and barely coherent. He complains of bad dreams and admits that he fell asleep in the cemetery and stayed there all night. As Mike talks, Jason notices 2 puncture wounds on his throat, the telltale mark of vampires.
Or snake bite.
Or snakes, or anything with 2 fangs, really. Jason invites Mike to stay the night at his house because he likes
big-ass spider.
Big-ass spider. Puts him in the guest bedroom. In the middle of the night, Mark Petrie is visited by Danny Glick, now a vampire himself. But here's the deal. Mark's too smart. He's into horror movies. He sees him. He loves his best friend, but he ain't opening that window. Okay? It's not. Yells at him to go away. His dad busts in and says, "Are you okay? You must have been talking in your sleep, having a bad dream." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." But he's crying the whole time because that's what Mark does, is he cries. All right, at Jason's house, Jason suffers a nightmare and imagines that he feels a presence in the next room while Mike's sleeping. He awakens and phones Eva's boarding house and summons Ben to the phone. Ben winds up going over there, and they find that, Mike's dead. Mike's dead. And funny enough, it seems like the bite marks are gone. So these guys are pretty sure there's vampires in Salem's Lot, but they don't want to just come out and say it. They're having a hard time with this. All right. So Ben returns to Ava's boarding house. Ned Tibbetts is there waiting for him and attacks him for macking on his woman, who's not his woman anymore. Beats him so bad that he winds up in the hospital with a concussion.
And a stupid haircut.
Now he's got a stupid thing on his head and a stupid haircut. So anyway, that night Jason is alone in his house, carrying a crucifix. Jason is the teacher guy, and he winds up having a heart attack. Basically, because Mike is there and Scary is a vampire saying, "Look at me, look at me." And they're like, what? He's like, "I don't want to look at you. You're ugly. I have a cross." And he winds up getting back into his bed and just having a heart attack. So good on you, Jason, for not dying by a vampire. All right, here we go. When Ben comes to in the hospital, Susan tells him that Jason's in the hospital with him. Additionally, several bodies have disappeared, and Mrs. Glick has died of anemia, pernicious anemia, which isn't that genetic. Common. It's genetic, apparently. Ben sets out to prove to the others and themselves the existence of vampires. He gets Bill Norton to accompany him to the coroner's office so that they may view Marjorie Glick's body and watch for signs of resurrection. Before they leave, Ben tells Susan about the threat of vampires. She reacts with shocked disbelief. Bill, who is a doctor, and Susan's father also, simply refuses to accept the idea that vampires could exist. But when he goes with Ben to the coroner anyway, Ben forms a makeshift cross using a tongue depressors as he recites the only passage from the Bible that he knows, Psalm 23. Marjorie Glick begins to show signs of life. While Bill is in the next room, she begins to shake, rattle, and roll. Then sits up, moaning Danny's name and hissing when she sees Ben. Bill walks into the room and Marjorie attacks both of them. Ben manages to ward her off with the cross, burns the flesh off her forehead, and she vanishes. Ben returns to the Norton house with a very stunned Bill Norton, who now realizes that the threat is real. Susan has followed Ben's instructions and draped the outside of the house with hawthorn, thought to be a talisman against vampires. He tells Susan he wants her to take her mother and go to Boston immediately. Meanwhile, Ned Tibbetts is lying in his cot at jail, and a figure cloaked in black enters the locked jail cell. And Ned is terrified by what he sees. The figure is Barlow, Revealed at last as a hideous centuries-old vampire with inhuman bluish skin and glowing eyes. Barlow attacks him immediately. The Petries are conferring with the local Catholic priest, Father Callahan, at their home. It appears to be a counseling session for Mark, who seems to have gone to his parents and told them about seeing Danny Glick at his window after all. The Petries do not believe this and think Mark imagined it because of his obsession with horror movies. While they're talking, the house begins to shake for no reason. The windows implode. A small dark shape hurls itself through the window, lands on the floor, slowly enlarging until it becomes Barlow. Okay, he lunges at the Petries and kills them instantly by breaking their necks and really slapping their heads together, which was kind of fun. Straker enters the house and confronts Father Callahan. Mark returns to his parents to find they're dead and blindly goes to attack Barlow. Barlow instead grabs Mark and holds him at bay, threatening to cut his throat with his sharp fingernails. And Straker comes in through the door and communicates and says, basically, we'll trade the boy for Father Callahan. And which the father agrees to. The boy runs off. Father Callahan's like, but you can't kill me. I'm a priest. And they said, yeah, watch us. Yeah, because basically you can't, crosses don't work on the master. The next day, Ben tries to round up help to fight Barlow, but numerous people have either fled town or died. Constable Gillespie even abandons the lot, fleeing with his family in a station wagon. Before he leaves, he gives Ben his gun. Okay. Susan is supposed to leave town with her mother, but instead she goes up to the Marston house because that's the exact fucking opposite thing that she was told to do. And that's what women do. They just do the exact opposite thing. Sorry. She was entranced by the idea that there could be something supernatural going on and in Salem's lot. And she sees Mark Petrie lurking around the grounds. She finds him in the house, follows him in the house, and Mark tells her he's going to kill Barlow, but Susan pleads with him to leave. Suddenly, Straker appears and subdues Mark, glaring menacingly at Susan, while Mark regains consciousness. He finds himself bound tightly with ropes by Straker, who intends to keep him tied up until sundown, where he will surely become a victim for Barlow. Susan is nowhere to be found, and Straker tells Mark he took Susan to meet the man she came here to meet. Left alone, Mark manages to escape from his bonds and runs to the house. From the house, running into Ben and Bill Norton in front of the Marston house, they have come to destroy Barlow and Straker. Instead, Mark stays with them and goes back inside to help. Straker appears and kills Norton by impaling him on a large sculpture of antlers. Okay, Ben shoots Straker with his gun, and Straker finally dies. Thank you, Straker, for finally dying. When they go into the basement to search for Barlow's coffin, they realize it's too late that the stairs have been removed, and they fall into the cellar, hurting themselves in the process. They find Barlow's coffin inside the root cellar, surrounded by some of the vampires who used to be residents of Salem's lot. Mike Ryerson and Larry Crockett are here, a few others. They're dormant because the sun is still up. But after Ben and Mark drag the coffin out into the basement, the sun has gone down, the vampires begin to rise, and Mark is only able to hold them off by temporarily locking them in the root cellar. Barlow awakens too, but Ben is able to struggle with him and hammer a wooden stake through his heart. Barlow immediately disintegrates into dust, but seems to laugh at Ben as he wonders aloud about Susan. Ben and Mark pour gasoline over the Marsden house and set it ablaze, burning the vampires inside and hoping that the flames carry into the near-deserted town itself. The final segment of the film repeats the opening sequence. Mark and Ben are now in Mexico, presumably on the run from vampires. A glowing bottle of holy water signals that one of them has found them again. Mark and Ben return to their bungalow, which I don't like the fact that they have a bungalow and it's just a man and a small child. Ben seems to expect what is waiting for him inside. When he goes in alone, Susan is lying on the bed inside the hut with her eyes closed. You were so difficult to find, she whispers, and she opens her eyes and they glow. She is the vampire. Ben knows this already. When he leans down to kiss her, he impales her with a wooden stake. From here, Mark and Ben move on, presumably still pursued by the vampires of Salem's Lot. That, my friend, was Salem's Lot. And that was also the longest synopsis ever done on the history of From the Slab.
Wow. Good job, Brian. Infinitely more entertaining than the movie.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Infinitely more entertaining than the movie.
So, boys and girls, if you're in the chat, if you saw this movie, let us know what you thought of it. What you thought of the movie. Hell, let me know what you thought of the book. Let me know of anything. Something.
Now, this is one of my favorite Stephen King books.
It was a good one. It was a good one.
I've read the book 3 times, including one that they published that had a bunch of deleted stuff, and
really?
they expanded it. Yeah, it's like deleted scenes on a DVD, only it's in the book.
Yeah, Tony, I agree. Great for its time. Go ahead. Sorry, Chris.
This is a well-shot movie. I mean, this is a television film, but it doesn't feel like...
No, it doesn't have the feel of a made-for-TV film. And especially doesn't feel like a made-for-TV film of its time.
No. It's boring as fuck.
Well, now it's boring as fuck. But in 1979, movies were pretty boring. There weren't as bad. Movies were paced way differently back in 1979.
Yeah, but Jaws is not boring.
It has boring moments.
Shut up.
It does. It's paced differently. It hits different. You know what I mean? I still think there was a few good scares in this movie.
There were. David Soul is awful.
You're not talking about his career.
He is beyond awful. They could have put anybody else in this movie and it would have been better.
He was Hutch, wasn't he?
I never watched it. I'm too young. I'm too young for that. But anybody else in that role would have made...
say Rob Lowe would have been great in that movie.
Yes. The Rob Lowe version of Salem's Lot is genuinely great. And it's the same length.
Is it?
It is. It was a 2-part miniseries on TNT. But they could go hard with the blood and the violence. And
I mean, this was definitely
all the violence had to be. I mean, as far as like biting of the neck and that kind of stuff, it all had to be implied.
And that's true. But I will say this: it's still one of the most accurate to the book movies of Stephen King's.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
And the book was not boring. I think that the translation to film didn't go well because it was done at the time. But at the time, it did go well. At the time, it was considered a very scary movie, and it worked well.
Well, what was on TV back then that was that scary?
See, and from what I remember being Night Gallery, yeah. There was what was it? The Twilight Zone, but that wasn't it. There was
I was gonna say Outer Limits.
Outer Limits was, but that had come and gone at that point. And then there was another one though. Tales from the Dark Side. and it was good. I mean, it was definitely had some things to it. I'm seeing we're losing some people. We need to just
top 5.
Yeah, you think we're top 5? Are we top 5? Hold on one second. Share this with your friends. Share it. Hit the share button. Do it now. All right.
So before I do the top 5, it's probably a good time to ask people to start voting if they want to for the game.
Yeah, if you want to win tonight's game, when's the Ocala show? We don't have one booked, Audrey. We don't have one booked. When it's booked, you'll know. I promise. I will let you know. So yeah, basically we're going to be playing before we do the top 5. We're going to be playing our game tonight and vote for either myself or Chris, and whoever wins will go on the wheel of names. If you so desire, and you win, you may win free pair of tickets to go see the Dude and Texas Hippie Coalition in Sanford, Florida. Sanford, which is just adjacent to pretty much Orlando-ish area. So if you're in the Orlando area and you want to, you may win a free pair of tickets. If you do not want them, we will figure out another way to give them away tonight. Well, happy birthday in December, Audrey.
All of December?
All of December,
wow.
The whole December.
All right.
We will be doing other shows in December. I don't think we have one in Ocala, but if we can, I'll see if I can squeeze one in. It's kind of a little short. Probably won't be till after the first of the year, unfortunately. So what's our top 5?
All right. In honor of me hating this fucking movie, we're going to do top 5 worst Stephen King adaptations.
Ooh.
And these aren't, it has nothing to do with the accuracy of the adaptation, because Salem's Lot was pretty close to the book, but damn near unwatchable as far as I'm concerned. So these are movies that were just bad. And they're not all movies, some of them are TV. But these are just fucking awful. So we're going to start with Under the Dome.
Under the Dome.
Under the Dome. 2 seasons of pure hell.
The first season wasn't a total hell. It was only half a hell. Yeah. It started off like okay. But go ahead.
Next one that was probably the most disappointing thing that ever happened to Stephen King cinema, The Dark Tower.
Yeah.
Even though it's got one of the best casts you could ask for, oh, what a misfire.
Yeah, I think the good casting was actually added to how disappointing it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Matthew McConaughey was doing his absolute best and couldn't fucking save it. Number 3 is Firestarter 2022.
Ooh.
Yeah, with Zac Efron. That was a bad one. Number 2 is the new adaptation of The Stand. That in 9 episodes simultaneously was the fastest and slowest moving.
It wasn't good.
Ever.
It wasn't.
It was bad. I tried watching it a second time. It's unwatchable.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Whereas the first version was pretty good.
First version was great. So, number one worst Stephen King adaptation. Written by the man himself. Cell.
What is it?
Cell.
Cell. Oh.
John Cusack, Samuel L. Jackson, and Stacy Keach.
Could have been great.
Oh.
Could have been great. I actually liked the book.
I love the book.
And it was like
great ideas.
His first foray into the zombie thing, genre, and what happened with the movie?
Yeah, and he wrote that damn movie.
Yeah, yeah, he's a good book writer, though. We'll give him that. Writing books.
That's my top 5 worst Stephen King.
Very good, top 5.
I almost put Children of the Corn in there, but it got eked out by Under the Dome.
Yeah, Under the Dome was really bad, and yeah, that's it. I think we need to listen to this guy real quick. Click the share button. Click it. Share this with your friends. Let everyone know you're watching From the Slab with Monkey Boy and Chris. Now that guy knows exactly what he's talking about.
Now, Audrey, was this a vote for Monkey Boy, or are you just trying to tag him in your question?
I think it was a vote.
Well, I'll put that down.
I think it was a vote. If she's still here, I think it was a vote for me. And a vote for me is a vote for success. All right. Anybody else want to vote before we get this started?
Nobody has confidence in me.
I don't know why. You win an awful lot. All right. Well, I guess it's time.
Yeah.
When you get asked a question about that whole movie, what's the damn answer? When you get to thinking, you might just know the answer. What's the damn answer? What's the damn answer? With Quizmaster Jason.
Hi there.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Not much.
Hi, Jason.
Jason's in the hizzy, faux shizzy.
I got a question for you guys.
Sure.
There is a book. It's got Stephen King's name on it. I'm curious if they ever made a movie or a TV series about it. It's called The Talisman.
We will know.
The Talisman. No, they have not. But they are making one.
Really? Okay.
The producers and writers of Stranger Things are working on The Talisman after they're done with the next season of Stranger Things, and I believe produced by Steven Spielberg.
It should be pretty good.
That should be pretty damn good.
It should be. But
if it does well, they can just go ahead and do Black House after it.
Sure.
True. I think they need to. I think you could take some liberties with how you do that movie for the book compared to the book, but I would keep it close to the book.
It's going to be a series. It's going to be a series on Netflix. Yeah.
Well,
but I would keep it close to the book.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. I would also redo. I'd redo Hearts in Atlantis as well if I was going to do that. But that's all right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
ladies and gentlemen, we are signed up for the game tonight. I know Audrey voted. Do we have any other additional votes?
We do. We've got
Tony, Audrey, and Delilah.
Yeah, that's 3. And
how many for each?
How many for each?
I got 1. Brian's got 2.
Oh. They have no faith in you tonight, Chris.
That's fine.
Why? Don't worry.
Delilah will get to pick another movie.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I do have my list of questions tonight. Luckily, I held that back here so you couldn't see them.
All right.
So here we go. Of course, this is What's the Damn Answer? It's kind of a hodgepodge of some nice horror movies and interesting questions. So are we ready for tonight?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. In the movie Zombieland, what amusement park are they trying to get to? Chris?
Funland?
No.
Pacific Playland.
That is correct. I really didn't think that one was going to be a head scratcher, but okay.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 2. In what horror movie does a guy on a motorcycle smash into an invisible artificial wall? Brian?
Cabin in the Woods.
That is correct. All right. This one I picked out random. So we'll see what happens with it. Which young Hollywood star leads the cast on the 2022 Scream reboot? Chris?
Jenna Ortega.
That is correct. All right. Never saw the reboot, but I heard it wasn't terrible.
I liked it.
All right. Question number 4. What was the original title for the movie The Blob? Chris?
The Blob that ate everything?
No, but that would have been awesome. Brian?
The Blob from Planet X?
No. It's actually The Glob.
Glob.
Yeah. So I'm like, what? I'm like, you can't make this stuff up. So, all right. Question number 5. Which 2022 neo-Western science fiction horror film was written, directed, and co-produced by Jordan Peele? Chris?
Nope.
That is correct. All right. Well, this is getting kind of interesting because we are now actually we're actually tied. So
Okay.
we're at 2 apiece for Brian and Chris. So
Let's say hello to Bill. Hi, Bill.
Hey, Bill. What's going on?
All right.
All right. So here we go with question number 6. Where was the 2005 film Wolf Creek shot at? Brian?
Australia?
That is correct. I have not seen that movie, but it is on my list of movies to see.
Yeah, not a bad one.
Okay.
Not a bad one. It's definitely worth a watch, I guess.
All right. This one's going to be an interesting question because I didn't even know the answer to this.
All right.
What movie was the movie The Quiet Place supposed to be a sequel of? Brian?
Bird Box?
No. Chris?
Cloverfield?
That is correct. I was like, what? I had no idea. All right. So, here we go to question number 8. Which low-budget 90s horror film stars Jennifer Aniston at the peak of her friend's fame? Brian, sorry.
Leprechaun.
That is correct. All right. Question number 9, and this is probably one of my favorite newer, quote unquote, newer horror movies. What's the name of the town in the movie Jennifer's Body? Chris?
Walla Walla?
Nah. Brian?
Sexton?
No, that'd be an awesome name for it. No, actually, the name of the town was Devil's Kettle.
Devil's Kettle.
Yep.
It's okay. Now it seems to pop into my mind.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Question number 10. In what month do the 3 students go into the woods in the Blair Witch Project? Oh, Brian.
I believe it is November.
No.
Oh.
Chris.
October.
That is correct. I had to do my research on that one.
It's in the opening fucking...
Yeah, it is.
I'm not watching the movie right now, so I don't, you can't...
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So, question number 11. What city serves as the backdrop for the vampire movie The Lost Boys? Brian.
Santa Clara.
That is correct. Again, awesome movie. And don't think you can, even if they try to do like an actual, like real remake of that, I don't think you'd ever come close to it. You wouldn't have, you don't have the star power for the cast.
I'm sure they're trying. Trying.
Well, they did a sequel.
I welcome it. They did 2 sequels.
Yeah.
Well, one was with Kiefer Sutherland's son.
No, they were all with Corey Feldman.
All like
They were all Corey Feldman.
One of them had the sax guy again.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They brought back the guy.
Yeah, he's in the beginning of it playing.
Yeah.
It's great.
Nice. All right, so we have a score of 5-4 in favor of Brian. So, good job. Keep going.
All right, keep
So,
going.
here we go with question number 12.
All right.
What kind of house is terrorized by a serial killer in the movie Black Christmas? Brian.
Sorority house.
That is correct. Brian's kind of feeling it tonight.
His brain medicine this week.
I know. I mean, wow. See what happens when he goes on vacation?
Had a little too much brain medication.
Yeah. All right.
All right. What's next?
In the movie I Know What You Did Last Summer, whose body does Julie, who is played by Jennifer Love Hewitt, find in her trunk? Mm-hmm. Looking for the character name. Be more specific. Brian?
Sam?
No. Good guess, though. Take a stab at it, Chris.
Josh?
No, it was actually Max.
Max.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie was dumb.
Oh, come on. You just didn't like it because Freddie Prinze Jr. was in it.
No, because I like the Scooby-Doo movies.
Yeah.
Freddie Prinze.
Absolutely. All right. So here's a very nice layup for you. Question number 14. Which horror movie repeats the quote, "Do you want to play a game?" Chris.
Saw.
That is correct.
Have
either one of you seen the newest one?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I was watching it the other night, but I did not.
I don't have movies money right now.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I feel you on that one. All right. Question number 15. What song is played at the beginning of Halloween 2? Brian.
Mr. Sandman?
That is correct. Sure. Let's just play a nice song at the beginning of the nice sweet song at the beginning of a homicidal serial murder movie.
Hey, it's all about the dreams.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Question number 16. In 2018's movie Hereditary, what food does Charlie have a bad reaction to? Brian.
Tree nuts.
Be a little more specific? No.
Tree nuts is what I remember.
Yeah. Chris, you want to take a shot at it? Brian was on the right track, but there's a little more to it.
Legumes?
No. It's actually, he had a bad reaction to chocolate cake with walnuts.
Walnuts. Well, walnuts a tree nut. I think I got it right.
Well, you have the chocolate cake in there too, though.
Well, he wasn't allergic to the chocolate.
Well, yeah.
That's
but it was walnut. That's okay. All right. Question number 17. What is the name of Victor Frankenstein's assistant in Frankenstein, the 1931 film? Chris.
Igor.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, now you know it. Take a shot at it, Brian.
I know it. It's there. It's in there. It's in there.
Jaws let loose.
Nah. It's not. It's escaping me.
Fritz.
Yep.
I asked my husband this question earlier. He's like, and he said the same thing Chris to James quick on. He's like, Igor. I'm like, no, that's not it.
Now I gotta research where that came from.
Huh?
Now I gotta research where that came from.
I know, right?
Igor was an assistant later. And then it was definitely Young Frankenstein.
Well, that's why I specifically said the 1931 film too.
Yeah. So, but definitely
in the different adaptations, it's different.
I remember the Fritz now.
Mm-hmm. All right. Question number 18. What composer made the music for Vertigo and Psycho? Chris.
Philip Glass?
Nope.
Was it Mancini?
No, it wasn't. It was actually Bernard Herrmann.
Bernard Herrmann. All right.
So yeah, exactly. I mean, but he made the soundtrack for two of probably the greatest all-time classic horror movies.
They were good.
So, all right. So we're at question number 19. How many Saw movies are there? Chris.
10.
No. Brian.
8.
No, it's actually 9. We're not Well, I think there's a discrepancy here because are you counting the brand new one?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's probably right.
Because there's Saw 1 through 6, and then Jigsaw, and then the final chapter, and then Spiral, the Book of Saw, and Saw 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give it to him.
Give that to him.
The printout I have here was pre this new one.
Yeah. That's why it's called Saw 10.
I agree, but like I said, these questions were made pre the new one. But we'll give it to you because he is correct. All right, so Brian is still leading by 1 point. It is 7-6. We are on 2 more. We're on to question number 20. In the film Dead Alive, what did Lionel kill all the zombies with at his house?
It's been so many. I haven't seen that since.
Chris?
Flamethrower?
No.
Kindness?
Killing kindness now. It was actually a lawnmower.
Yeah, I knew it was something very householdy.
Yeah.
But I couldn't remember what it was.
All right. Question number 21. This should be interesting. In the Godzilla movies, how was Godzilla's roar made? Brian.
It was a mixture of different animal roars.
No.
No?
No. Chris?
It's a bass guitar mixed with a lion's roar.
No. You were half right. Actually, what they did was they had a guy wearing a leather glove running it over a double bass. That's what it was. Take a leather glove and they literally just ran it back and forth across a double bass to create Godzilla's roar.
Damn it!
And you can fun fact that one because that's actually how they did it back in the day. Now they just CGI it.
Close. It was close.
All right. Well, we have a winner with Brian.
I am the winner
as the score of 7-6. Also, a very, very close game. Very, very good game, as a matter of fact. So, congratulations, Brian.
By one, which means we go to the Wheel of Names.
Yes, we
to
do.
Find out. Hold on, give me just a second. I've got to get the Wheel of Names up here.
Who voted for you, Brian? Delilah and who else?
Hold on.
Delilah never votes for Brian. You kidding? Tony and Audrey.
Oh, Tony and Audrey. Okay, that's right. Delilah always votes for Chris.
Yeah, so hold on one second. I got to get the wheel up and get this stuff done in the right way. Let's see. Okay, and who do we have again?
Audrey and Tony.
Audrey and Tony. All right. So let me share.
All right.
Screen. Wheel of Names. Share. All right. We see the Wheel of Names up there.
There we go. We got Audrey and Tony. There we go.
Audrey and Tony. Here we go. Let's see who wins and who gets to pick next week's movie.
And for a shot at the tickets.
And for a shot at the tickets if they want it. Oh, it's right on it's on the line. Who is it? Who is it? It's Audrey.
Audrey! Yay!
All right, Audrey is the winner.
No giant penis tearing apart a city movie this week.
No. Okay. So Audrey, you are the winner tonight. You get to pick next week's movie. And if you are able to make it and you want to, I have a pair of tickets for you to come see the dude with Texas Hippie Coalition at the West End Trading Company in Sanford, Florida. So, yeah, all you got to do is, okay, Jeepers Creeper. Did we do that one yet?
Not with me. No,
not with me. All right,
is talking the original one or the remake? Because remember they did a remake.
It's got to be the original one.
It's got to be the original.
And and the remake is the remake a remake or is it just like a sequel-ish thing?
It was a poor attempt at a remake, I think.
So Jeepers Creepers is the movie. Audrey, are you able to make it to this show on Saturday? If you are, you have free tickets. That is a $40 value. Yours absolutely free for winning.
Oof.
We don't know.
Well, while we're waiting on her to answer, I will actually watch Jeepers Creepers again because you just
a really good movie.
You don't get tired of watching that movie.
Never saw it. It'll be my first time.
Are you serious? Oh my goodness! Yeah, you're in for a treat.
I still like it. There's good stuff. I'm not sure we ever did Jeepers Creepers, so you can't make it. Father-in-law not in good health. Okay.
Oh,
All right. Well, that's okay.
Got the priorities right.
That's fine. But I still have 2 tickets to give away. So how do we do this?
Is Tony going to be there?
Tony probably will not be there.
Probably will not be there. Okay. Chris, what are you doing this weekend?
I will be playing at Leo's Live in Lakeland.
You'll be in Lakeland at Leo's Live
with the Wreck by Apathy, and we're playing with
Never heard of them.
Oh, I love those guys.
Oh, I can't remember. I can't even remember the bands in the bill. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, you should look it up real quick. In the meantime, if you are now only if you are able to make it to the show, the one that voted for Chris. No. You can't make it. No, we
no, she'll be at Leo's Live.
She'll be at Leo's Live.
It's gonna be Wreck by Apathy, Mind Virus, Ballistic Mafia, and the Cutthroat Kings.
Oh,
yeah,
right on. It's a good show. Sorry, I didn't mean to yawn when I said that. It's just a long day, and I haven't had enough booze. All right, so I guess we. If you are in the chat right now, and there's not a whole lot of you in there, but if you're in the chat right now and you can make it to this show,
let us know.
I will give you a question, and if you can answer it, you get the tickets. And if not, maybe they'll just go unclaimed. Maybe we'll give away two pairs of tickets tomorrow night on the Dude Check-In. So, So can anyone in the chat make it to the show? Wow. Well, there you go. That's the thing.
Guys, it's gonna go to the Dude Live Check-In.
It's gonna go to the Dude Check-In. Tomorrow we're going to be giving away 2 pairs of tickets.
Hey, bro, Chris, I want. Yep, 4 pairs, four tickets.
4 tickets.
Now, I will it's not a spoiler, but make sure you pay attention on Jeepers Creepers. Pay attention in the first, I don't know, Brian, you've seen the movie. Pay attention to the first maybe 5-10 minutes of the movie. Because it really does set the tone, but
that's when I eat all my popcorn.
Really plays into it. That really plays into the big storyline.
It's a well-done movie, and it's got Justin Long in it, so you can't go wrong.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Jason. I appreciate you once again for quiz mastering the quiz.
Thank you.
You quizzed the hell out of the quiz master job.
I'm just trying to come up with some stuff to just make you use your noodles a little bit.
That's fine, and that's good. Thank you.
All right, you guys have a great week. Enjoy the show in Sanford this weekend. Enjoy the show in Lakeland this weekend as well. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I mean, who knows? Hell, I may make a stop in Lakeland and Sanford. Who knows?
Woo! Suki.
I mean, I can hit one on the way to the other. So who knows?
That's some driving.
But yeah. All right.
It'd be good weather for it.
Yeah.
Have a good week, guys.
All right, you too, brother. All right, Chris, and is that your only show this weekend?
That is.
All right. Hold on one second. Audrey says, "Oh, her other half knows the guy who has the truck for Jeepers Creepers."
Oh, very cool.
That's cool. Very good. Maybe we could get the truck on here and interview. I would love to. I don't know if trucks can do interviews, but if they could, either way, that's very cool. That's a really cool.
It'll speak in Morse code like in Maximum Overdrive. Like in Maximum Overdrive.
Like in Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Audrey, congratulations on winning tonight. Once again, boys and girls, our next week's movie is Jeepers Creepers. And
guarantee the synopsis will be shorter.
Guaranteed the synopsis will be shorter for sure. And that's it. We're already over time, so we got to go, or else the network will have our asses. From all of us here, all the whole staff and background players of From the Slab, thank you so much for being here. Good night. We love you.
Bye.
And God bless everyone.